Okay, here we've got the FC30 Arcade Stick from 8bitdo. It's the newer model because they have produced this before, but this one is the Sanwa version, so some of the components are much higher quality than before. Now I think they've used the original box because the Sanwa sticker you can feel has just been applied, so they're just sort of reusing the packaging, but it's exactly the same as the previous one, but with the components like the joystick and the buttons swapped over to be Sanwa, so it's great quality. And you can tell, although the picture here has got a plastic sort of joystick shaft here, on the actual joystick that's sort of aluminium or metal, you can see inside when I open it up. So whilst the packaging, if you order one, might look like this, inside, if it's got the Sanwa sticker, you've got the different version, the previous one being just with the standard parts for the buttons. But like most of the 8bitdo products, it's all about the retro element to it. And obviously arcade games are quite retro, and this is an ideal joystick for it. The selling point of this one over other joysticks that might be out there is that it's really good at the Bluetooth connection, so you can use that with the iOS devices or Android or Raspberry Pi, which is what I've been trying it with. And obviously it does come with a USB cable as well, so if you don't have Bluetooth you can still use it. And it's worked really well on Windows Super Street Fighter 4 for me. And also it works fine on the Android devices that I tested as well. The slogan being, everything old is new again. So you do get quite a lot of good retro feel with most of their devices. If you see the website, you'll see what I mean. There's loads of great little portable joypads as well as the joysticks available. So this is the box I've got. And it cost about, it's well packaged, you can see. It's got decent covering, decent protection inside. And it costs for UK about £100. So whilst it is a really good device, in terms of cost, if you want a low-cost solution, particularly for the Raspberry Pi, if you're playing retro games, it's not ideal for that because it's about 3 times the cost of a Raspberry Pi or about twice the cost of a cheap tablet. So it is a fair amount of expense, but then you pay for the quality that you get, and I've been really happy with it. So inside the box, just open it up, and on the back, I don't know if you can see that, just check, that's showing up. On the back it just overviews the functions of the joystick. It's wireless Bluetooth arcade joystick without wire to treble. English may be a bit flaky, but you get the gist. Built-in smart CPU, so you can update the firmware quite happily with updates from this site. It says 0 lag, and certainly when I've played I haven't noticed any lag. I haven't sort of measured it precisely, but I've been pretty happy with it. It's got Bluetooth pair button, turbo button, retro design for happily remembering the old days better than the rest. Dual mode support, Bluetooth keyboard and touchscreen, so you can put it into different modes. You can have the Joypad mode, so it emulates a joypad or it emulates a keyboard. So in the same way that the joypads that 8bitdo make, you can put this into a different mode, whether it's arcade, keyboard or joypad, etc. Or just USB to the PC. It's got a built-in 1000 milliamps battery, and battery life's been pretty good when I've been using it, no issues there. Firmware upgradable, like I said, compatible with iOS, Android, Mac and Windows, and programmable keys. So it's pretty comprehensive in everything that it offers. And it says here on the back, you've got the D-pad, the Bluetooth connection, home, start, select, A, B, X, Y, L1, L2, R1, R2. But let's get out of the box. Okay, so you get this phone piece here protecting the joystick, and we pick this out. Two phone pieces on the side, and the joystick itself. See, it's got a good thickness. It feels very solid, and it's got very firm rubber feet on there, so you can see it's not going to move when it's down. It definitely feels very solid. You'd really have to move it to get that shifting. The joypad, the manual comes with it as normal. It's largely just telling you about the different modes that it can go into and how to upgrade the firmware. So once you've connected it, you don't tend to need it after that. What I'll do at the end is a brief gameplay video so you can see how it acts, but largely what you'll see is a game being played. Now, as I said earlier, you can see on the joypad that, on the joystick rather, or I don't know if you can see at that angle, if I bring that closer, you can see that you've got the metal shaft there. So it's sort of one indicator to show that it's the Sanwa version. And again, the buttons are all Sanwa made as well. At the top here we've got the pair button, the turbo button, select and start at the top here. Then you've got home and the standard buttons. You've got X, Y marked up, A, B and O and L1. You can obviously map these to whatever you want, but you've got that amount of buttons, so if a game needs that many, obviously it's no issue to start using that. At the top here there are two LEDs, and if I turn that on, you can see here you've got the Bluetooth that's looking to be paired, and because it's flashing in a pattern of 1, it's in Joypad mode, so if that saw a receiver, it would quite happily sort of latch onto that and connect. Just see the reverse, just standard solid base here, and around the sides, the only element that you need to see on the side really is this port here, where it's got the USB cable. So if I open that up, you've got a good length cable. It's about 1.8 meters. So if you do want to plug that into, say, a PC, it's quite easy to, and it can get stored away in there quite happily. Let's see if that might not have shown very well there, but you get the idea. So yeah, it's about 1.8 meters. But I did notice on the Raspberry Pi, for whatever reason, using the USB cable, it didn't respond that well. There was not a lag, but sometimes it didn't detect the key presses, the button presses that well with the USB cord itself. It was much better as soon as it was in Bluetooth mode, which it paired to quite happily. And there's a wiki page on the RetroPie website that shows how to connect an 8bitdo Bluetooth controller, and this connects in much the same way. So it's just a case of following those instructions and pairing it as normal. But you can tell the build quality on this is very high. It's got a good clicking noise there, you can hear that. The buttons themselves, no problems at all, they feel very good quality. But one thing to be aware of, it doesn't detect it if you sort of press without fully depressing and just sort of do it rapidly like down here. It doesn't always detect that, so you need to sort of get a technique where you are letting it fully depress when you tap it again. But that's not really a hassle. Obviously it's best geared for arcade games, so whether it's MAME emulator, FBA or Neo Geo style, it sort of maps to that a bit more naturally because that's the interface that you would have had, but it's no problems running it on Mega Drive games or Super Nintendo. They all work really well as well. So all in all, been really happy with this. You can get the slightly cheaper version without the Sanwa components, maybe for about £30 or so less, so maybe £70 in the UK, that sort of price. 8bitdo sell it on eBay as well as some official resellers, so it's not too difficult to get hold of. You should be able to see those about. But yeah, generally been very happy with it. I think it's a great quality. I'll just see if I can bring that in a bit here so you can see the joystick and the buttons there. And I haven't had an issue hooking it up with any of the Android devices or iOS I've had. Obviously it seems very overkill if you're going to hook your iPhone up to this. Possibly not worth that sort of setup, but you get the idea, and it's obviously fairly portable being Bluetooth. You don't need to wire it up if you don't need to. So all in all, strongly recommend it, and what I'll do is I'll show you a video of it playing on the RetroPie system on a Raspberry Pi. Okay, now appreciate the video might just look like playing a game, but I've got the 8bitdo Sanwa joystick in front of me. It connected with Bluetooth in Joypad mode just as easily as the controllers do. I haven't really seen any issues there. I haven't tried connecting to it in keyboard mode, but not really necessarily any need. As per the other videos you'll see on my YouTube channel, getting this set up just creates a new controller file for the joypad, and it runs with that, so you don't really need to get editing any retroarch.cfgs or anything like that. It's pretty much ready to go. And let's give Streets Rage 2 a go. So I've mapped these buttons in a certain way. You can obviously map them differently, so your A button might be a B, and etc, etc. But if I start this one up, should get a bit of sound here. Okay. I've got a bit of an overlay going on here, but that's not affecting the controls. So if we start into this, you might see a bit of a graphical sort of bleed through of some reds on the background there. Just ignore that, that's just my setup playing up for the moment. We're looking at the control obviously. So you can hear me tapping away on the joypad there. And what I'm doing when I'm clicking that, I'm making sure that I sort of fully depress. You can still get a very quick rate of fire from it. The joystick works really well, feels really firm. No problems at all with that. It communicates really well given it's Bluetooth there, it's not using the USB cable. Like I said, did have some issues with the USB cable anyway, so whilst it works fine on PC etc, I did have issues on the Raspberry Pi with it. All the buttons on the controller work as you map them, so the select and start will quite happily escape from a given game as well. And I think this is best suited probably for, like I say, arcade games. So if we quit out of this, hold down select, hit start, and we'll fire up something I've got, whether it's MAME or FBA, I'm not sure what I've got on this one. 8B. Okay, so I've got Neo Geo, which is arcade obviously. FBA, just thinking how these ones are set up at the moment. Let's try that one. We've got Aerofighters, I'll give that a go. Although I think that's Neo Geo anyway, isn't it? But not that it really matters. Okay, try that. LRFBA, okay, so that's still using the RetroArch setup, so my controls should still work quite fine, happily. Neo Geo, okay, so that's credit. That's the select button, that's the start button. It's quite happy to see these buttons. Okay. Again, there's a bit of a graphical bleed through there that I'll worry about later, but as far as the controls go, it's really good. I mean, that's a much better experience than trying to use a joypad on some of these games where you've got to mash some buttons. And I've got no issue with that fire button there, it doesn't sort of stop detecting it. It's a lot easier playing these sort of games with a good strong joystick there. It's keeping up no problem. I wouldn't say there's any lag there, or you know, nothing to affect playability really. It's a good hybrid solution having a joystick like this, rather than having to get say a bar top or an actual sort of arcade cabinet. You can get your little portable Raspberry Pi or portable Android device or anything, and you've got a decent arcade feel with this type of joystick. It's definitely a good addition from 8bitdo, who are producing some great little retro devices at the moment. But yeah, that's no problem there, and I should be able to quit out of that with select and start again. No, I can't because this is FBA, and long story short, hotkeys are different, but you get the idea. So yeah, really happy with it. If there's any questions, please put them in the comments on the YouTube channel. I'll also put some links to where you can buy it, and the wiki page where you can configure a Bluetooth device. But yeah, hopefully that's helped you. Thanks.